Foreign companies are keen to take advantage of Vietnam's coastline and booming economy. A shipyard in the country has clinched a $250 million contract to build vessels for the offshore oil and gas industry. Shipping giant Maersk is also setting up operations in the Southeast Asian nation. For more, I'm joined now by Graham Bell, Executive Chairman of the Amanda Group. His group and Norway's Aker Yards are undertaking this joint venture shipyard project in Vietnam. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Bell. First of all, how significant is this deal for Vietnam's shipyard sector?
Well, with the oil price where it is, Rico, oil exploration around the world, and particularly in Southeast Asia, and particularly in Vietnam, is booming. There are many oil rigs being built, and lots of exploration is being undertaken. To support that industry, you need lots of supply vessels. The ones we are building with Aker Yards and the Amanda Group in Vietnam are highly sophisticated vessels, and they're essential to continue this exploration work.
And what kind of growth are you expecting from the shipyard business?
Well, if you take the oil price closed on Friday on NYMEX around 62 or 61 and change, and nobody's forecasting for it to drop. Oil companies are really needing to look for more and more supplies, and of course at those prices they're economically viable. So there'll be a lot more interest in exploration. The other point is that the fleet that currently supports these oil rigs is 60% of it is over 20 years old. That has two problems. One, it's not as efficient to run, and secondly, it doesn't comply with the new regulations for green and eco-friendly. Whereas the vessels we're building, Amanda and Aker are building, will be complying with these new clean regulations.
This is a massive deal, $250 million US, particularly for Vietnam. The Amanda Group has been doing business in the Southeast Asian country over the past 2 decades, and only in Vietnam. What does the group see in terms of potential in Vietnam going forward?
Well, we felt a bit lonely in Vietnam for some of the last 2 decades, Rico, because we are a company that only operates in Vietnam. We only have that focus, and it will only stay that way. Other people have been doing business in other places. We keep saying, come to Vietnam, come to Vietnam. Now a lot of people are joining us, and we see the future as very, very buoyant in Vietnam.
But what are the challenges of doing business in Vietnam? Can you just do business in Ho Chi Minh? Can you just do business in Hanoi? Or is there still that north-south divide?
You have to have good relationships in Vietnam, like you have to have in many places. And the north, of course, is where the seat of government is. And the south, of course, is where a lot of economic activity is. So you have to spread your activities right across the country. You really have to be very experienced in understanding how those relationships work and how to get through the regulations to get your business up and running and ongoing.
And how has the entry of Vietnam into the World Trade Organization impacted business for the country?
Well, that was kind of like the icing on the cake. Vietnam's been changing progressively. It's becoming easier and easier to do business. But when the entry to the WTO happened, that was like kind of the blessing. And more people have now turned to look at Vietnam because of that sanction by the WTO.
Do gains outweigh risks in Vietnam, or do risks still outweigh the gains in Vietnam?
It depends what industry you're in, I think. Some are more competitive than others. I personally and my colleagues at the Amanda Group feel that the gains outweigh the risks, and Aker Yards has joined us, and they obviously feel that the gains outweigh the risks. I think, like any business venture, you have to be very careful with your business plan, select the right partner, and go about it in a very diligent way.
After this joint venture shipyard project, where does Amanda Group plan to go going forward?
Well, we have 2 projects under review at the moment, one in the tourism business and one related to the oil and gas business again, and we'll be out there looking for financing partners and indeed partners to come with us, because that's our model. We only partner to move forward.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Graham Bell, Executive Chairman of the Amanda Group, based in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your Vietnamese ventures.
Thank you, Rico.